Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Season 6 of Black Mirror. And this is a 5-episode season, and diving into each of these episodes, as this is an anthology series, and each of these episodes are very different. We have the first one, which is Joan is Awful, which I think has some great work from Annie Murphy and from Salma Hayek and some other interesting cameos in the particular episode and performances. I think it's a cool concept of playing on the artificial intelligence creating shows and taking liberties and you better read your terms and conditions before you agree to anything kind of situation. And it has all these layers and very relatable elements. I do feel like it keeps going and going and going, and after, because this is a full hour episode, and I feel like the conceit after a while, it's okay, we get it. But this is definitely the big episode from this season. Then you have Lock Henry, which this one's a lot more small scale, low key, not big name performers in it. Some good talented young actors like Mahala. I think you even have John Hannah, who's good character actor, popping up in there. But this one was messed up. This is looking at documentaries and our obsession with true crime and what these investigations can really turn up when you start flipping all these stones and rocks and seeing what's underneath. And there are some really twisted turns that this story took that I really liked. And to be perfectly honest, I think in many ways this is probably my favorite episode of this season. You have the third one, which is Beyond the Sea, which this one is an hour and 20 minutes. This is a film trying to disguise as an episode of an anthology series. It's just ridiculous, and some of these episodes felt long. And this one in particular, this one did, of the two significantly over an hour episodes, this one didn't feel as bad. But this is basically a film, and in alternative 1969, two men are in this high-tech mission up in space, and they could send their consciousness into these clones of their bodies back at home. And the tricky thing about this is, they have some interesting ideas about, artificial intelligence and stuff like that kind of thrown in there, but you have Aaron Paul and Josh Hartnett, but then when one of their clones and whole family gets killed down on Earth, then it's a matter of, should Aaron Paul's character share his clone body so Josh Hartnett's character can enjoy some time on Earth, and then the connection that starts happening between Hartnett's character inside Aaron Paul's clone body and Kate Mara, who's supposed to be Aaron Paul's wife, and those kinds of dynamics, and it gets complicated and interesting. It goes to some dark places, which I didn't think this story was going to go that far, but it did. And this is probably the most emotionally impactful episode, because there's just a lot of emotion and weight, and it's more intimate, talking about relationships and stuff like that. Episode number 4, Maisie Day, that has Zazie Beetz in it. Love Zazie Beetz, who's this paparazzi and is trying to track down this starlet who goes missing. But where this goes, the paparazzi stuff is so on the nose, and where this episode actually goes is completely out of left field and just absolutely ridiculous. And you're just what? And some of the ideas that they're coming up with for Black Mirror at this point, obviously, some of these episodes are getting away from the technology aspect of it, this one in particular, but this was just crazy. And then the last episode really gets away from it. In Northern England in 1979, a meek sales assistant is told she must commit terrible acts to prevent a disaster by a demon. And this episode is Demon 79, and this is an hour and 15 minutes, and really felt it. And after a while, I'm just get to the point already. This particular one was dark, certainly dark, and had a dark perspective, and really was really just an episode that didn't have a whole lot to like latch onto, and by the end it goes to some crazy places, and you're just like, again, what's this have to really do with technology? And it's just this crazy, like, this is starting to feel just like the Twilight Zone, where it's like science fiction fantasy stories just popping up, and like Black Mirror had a purpose, and now it feels like they ran out of ideas related to it, so they're just trying to throw whatever at the wall. And those last two episodes really reeked of that, and didn't work in many ways because of it. But in the end, I think this season had some rock solid good episodes, and then towards the tail end, those last two were disappointing, at least a bit to me. And in general, I think Black Mirror is kind of losing its way with the past two seasons, and maybe should take a step back. I don't know. It just maybe go strip it down, go back to its roots of something like that first season. But in general, I think this is just a very messy and all over the place season that kind of losing its way and its purpose of what this series is supposed to be. But those are my thoughts on Black Mirror Season 6. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some TV. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.